and that we're going to make something that people will remember forever.
Right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Mikey, the host of the Kansas City Pioneers podcast, and joined with me today is Alex, as you know, the Chief Operations Officer, and Sam. Alex, how you doing today, boss?
Doing great. How you doing, Mikey?
I'm doing pretty good. And Sam, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Mikey. Thanks for asking. It's been a great day so far.
Yeah, as it has. And for the folks who don't know what you do for Kansas City, would you mind letting them know?
So I'm the Chief Creative Officer and one of the founding partners of the Kansas City Pioneers.
Okay. And you're speaking of today being a great day so far. We actually ended up partnering with Under Armour. Can you just talk to us a little bit about kind of how that all came about?
Yeah, so there is a lot of different partnership and sponsorship opportunities in the sporting world, right? And for a growing team in Kansas City, we wanted to find partners that not only believed in us and our vision and mission, but also gave us an opportunity to further prove ourselves and what we're building here at Kansas City Pioneers. Kansas City Pioneers initially connected with Under Armour by way of a gentleman named Chip, and he connected with LJ. And this was a while back, but it started a connection and a relationship between our organizations. So Chip's in the marketing department at Under Armour, and so we started connecting with him pretty early on. I think it was, I'm not sure exactly when, but about a year ago, we started to kind of connect with him in the beginnings of the organization, and we have continued to nurture that relationship, try and find opportunities to work with him and their organization, of course. And so what you see today is the iteration of that in real time, which is this partnership that we've created with Under Armour to really showcase the importance and the power of social communities in the esports world, and to show that we're doing a interesting hybrid giveaway / contest. So what it looks like is we've got a shoe from Under Armour that they've given us all of the renderings to, and we're going to release that to the design community, and we're going to let them create their own unique design and take on the potential could be a shoe that ends up being created, right? So they're going to create Kansas City Pioneer designs that's going to go on this Under Armour shoe. And so after a few weeks on the due date, we're going to get all these submissions lined in, and together with Under Armour, we're going to pick the most, just the design that really moves us the most, and the design that we feel like really embodies this idea that we have with Kansas Pioneers and Under Armour, and which is building new things and creating new opportunities so that we can continue to serve the community, and really this is the best way to showcase that. And that's because we can engage with the design community and give them an opportunity to audition their skills and build a resume and build their portfolio for a brand that they enjoy, while also having the opportunity to raffle off that design and the shoe that we create from the winning design to the community at large, right? So not only are we able to engage with the design community and give back to them, but we're also able to engage the general public. And in the meantime, we're creating yet another ecosystem for connectivity, right? And that's what we're always trying to find, whether it's with the Kansas City Pioneers or any brand in today's day and age, which is how do you build ecosystems and how do you build different spaces where you can have recurring interaction with people to make them feel more a part of your community.
I like that. And I like too that you guys held on to it for a while. And I've always found that to be interesting, like when you find out that teams have been holding on to like a release for a while and then they wait for that right moment, And then obviously the last couple of days you guys have had us sweating bullets trying to figure out what the announcement was going to be. We're all like, oh my God, here we go, Super exciting times. But that's sweet and that's super exciting. And I didn't even realize that that's what they're doing either for the contest. So that's going to be neat.
Absolutely.
So with today's topics of discussion is, of course, marketing. We want to talk about marketing and everything that goes along with that. And then, of course, creative, because you are the Chief Creative Officer. So the first question I actually got for you, and if you can follow it up with this too, because they kind of go hand in hand. What is it like marketing in today's generation, and has COVID-19 had an impact on the way that you do that?
Yeah, so from the beginning, building the Kansas City Pioneers brand, we knew that we had to take immense care in everything that we did, whether it was the social media, the logo presentation, the fonts, the colors, all of those things we knew would contribute to how we were perceived. And that's very indicative of how social media as a whole is today, which is a multi-pronged, multifaceted approach, which means that, it's not just one tweet that sets you apart or differentiates you. It's not just one video. It's not just one email. It is a comprehensive, multifaceted approach that utilizes your messaging objectives and prioritizes what needs to happen based on where you're trying to take your brand, right? So we knew right out the gate with Kansas City Pioneers that we wanted to be gamer first, culture first, people first. We wanted to give back to the community. We wanted to not only do that, but also represent the community in which we serve, right? And those are a lot of different things that we want to conquer as a brand, especially in the beginning stages. And the way that ties back in terms of what marketing looks like in the 21st century is we understand from our previous experience, my partner, Mark, and I at Social Apex, where we spent years working with different brands locally and nationally on building their online and branded personas through their social media channels. And so from the beginning, coming into the Kansas City Pioneers, we already were heavily endowed with that understanding that community building and identifying where you wanted to go was very much so half of the battle, right? So understanding that you want to be an organization that represents diversity, we want to be an organization that supports our community, we want to be a community of people that is positive and supportive of other people. And in order to know what to do with our marketing, we had to figure that out first, right? So that's why with the Kansas City Pioneers, we didn't come out of the gate just swinging and posting all this fire crazy videos and trying to get on the news. And, that wasn't the goal in the beginning. And this is all part of the marketing, which was we had to set the stage. We had to understand what our priorities were for our organization and then build that into our messaging objectives. And then from there, we were able to take that and then build a really cohesive plan for engaging with people in today's day and age. And so that's really a long way of saying that what marketing looks like in the current climate is figuring out a way to give people the message they want, when they want it, where they want it, and providing an experience that's not only frictionless, but also empowering and engaging. We want to create, like I said earlier, these ecosystems. We want to provide opportunities for people to not only see our brand from the outside, but we want them to feel like they're a part of writing the story with us. And to build that energy is, as you can imagine, incredibly difficult. And in order to do that, we understood again that it comes from being genuine and building the right message that actually connects to your central why as a company, and then figuring out a way to deploy that as many ways possible, right? So for the Kansas City Pioneers, for example, what did we do since we've grown? We've done everything from, gameplay, edits, montages, top plays. Now we're diving into professional esports, but not only that, but we're doing memes. We're doing tons of graphic content. We're doing tons of high-produced videos. We're doing YouTube content. Not only that, but we're doing tons of PR as well and press. And it's all a piece of the puzzle, right? And so to go back to your second part of that question of COVID, it's heavily impacted what today's marketing climate looks like. But I would say that it's not all that different. I think that more so shown us is that it's really COVID has created this hyperbole, this I don't even know what the word, this exaggeration of all of our tendencies as people, right? Like COVID made it so that people couldn't ignore the fact that online was where most of these interactions were happening. COVID opened a lot of people's eyes to seeing that esports potential as an industry and as a professional industry. It really was an indicator for a lot of people that, of two major factors in my mind. COVID showed people around the world two major things in my mind when it comes to marketing, and that is you need to have an authentic approach to your brand, and it needs to be online. Because if you're not doing both of those things, then you're falling short of what you could be as a business, right? So it's about connecting, again, your messaging objective and who you are as a people and as a brand, and connecting that to a direct deliverables that you can facilitate and distribute and create and continue to create, so that you can continue to have endless conversation with your community. And that's why Kansas City Pioneers is so strong, is because, again, we've created that ecosystem, that back and forth. We have hundreds of members in our Discord in a matter of months. We have thousands of followers on Twitter that can constantly engage with us at a rate that is astounding in comparison to other organizations. And a lot of that has to do with our city-based approach and understanding of the business viability behind that. But not only that, along with all of the things that we've done to involve people, it's responding to them, connecting with them, working with them, bringing them into the team, empowering them and giving them resources, creating content with them. It's all of that. It's all of that together.
Okay, so I'm guessing good branding probably has a positive impact on marketing, correct? If as far as like your logos and how you represent your organization. Okay, I kind of figured, because I spoke on this on the first episode, but the one thing that I loved about Kansas City Pioneers was, one, the logo, because it comes off very strong. It's a tough looking logo, and then the gold and the black is like, and the white. We got some white in there every now and then. It's a strong. It just feels like a strong branding, and I was just like, oh my God, I like it. Because, you got some orgs that might have like crazy colors, or you never know, but I don't know. There's something about just that nice, clean, professional look, But speaking of logos and everything related to KCP, if you guys haven't yet, definitely check out the store on kcp.gg. I'll say it again, kcp.gg. I'm sure the link will probably be in the description below. But check out the store on the site. I'm serious when I say this. We got some nice stuff up there, and if you're a dad hat guy, there's some dad hats on there too. But I got my, I'm waiting on my jersey still, but I got one black hoodie, which looks phenomenal. And then obviously I got our summer collection, which was a phenomenal apparel drop too, by the way. But yeah, I'm serious. If you haven't checked it out yet, check it out now. Did you guys get any? I'm sure you guys have apparel, right? You guys have probably had apparel for years, though, at this point.
No.
We've got some stuff. Leadership has to be swagged out, Mikey. We can't just hide in the shadows.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so as far as all this marketing stuff, man, if anyone, the people who don't really understand everything or maybe trying to get into it, you can say what you want. If there's some secrets to the trade, I understand. But what are just a couple no-goes or things to stay away from when it comes to marketing?
So there's two things that you don't want to do in marketing in the 21st century. And that first thing that you don't want to do is be fake, right? When you're fake and you build a brand on, lies, no matter how large or small they are, not only will people find out, but it also severely inhibits your opportunity to create content, create partnerships, and ultimately create a viable, long-term, stable business. When you build a brand that's based on authentic messages and authentic feelings and vision, by doing that, you empower your organization to understand at its core who it is, and therefore enables people to be to promote the brand and to be able to spread the message and to represent the brand, because they know that what they're saying is true, right? So when you have people that work for you or that support you that know that you're not truly who you say you are, it takes away the, that evangelism that you could have if you were being authentic. Because when you're authentic, people notice. And when people notice that you're authentic and that you're looking out for them, or that you're helping them get to somewhere where they need to be in terms of from a marketing perspective, they're going to support you to no end, right? And so that's one thing, is definitely don't be fake. The second thing is you can't not be on social media. We've talked to so many people so many times about how they feel that social media is a burden to them, and how their Facebook ad dollars aren't getting the same reach that they used to. And the response to that is always that social media is a medium. It is your chance to access people at an unparalleled scale, right? It's not something that you own. It's not something that, it's not meant to sell services necessarily either, right? It wasn't made for that. It was made for a place for people to connect and be social, right? And so first of all, we need to approach social media from a graceful perspective from that regard, which is we're lucky that we're able to do business in these spaces and to connect with people like we've never been able to before. But on the flip side, social media has to be inclusive, and it has to be filled with as much truth and authentic brands as possible, right? So if you're an authentic brand and you're not online, then people that might need your service could be going to some, to competition that isn't as authentic or isn't actually doing what they're saying they're doing, or whatever you may have. So not being online, or, lowering or slacking your presence online is never an option. And it can't be an option for any brand going forward, because it's your only opportunity to create these asynchronous connections with people in real time, and to create communities at scale.
I love that. So I'm gonna jump in here, Mikey. So basically what I was gonna say was, if we tie this into esports specifically, like look at some of the top, not only orgs, but content creators, right? So like, especially for esports, it's 24/7, 365. Like look at the biggest brands, like 100 Thieves, for instance, right? Like they're new in the industry, and they're building this huge platform that's not just based on esports anymore. Like, of course, they're competing at the highest level in a multitude of games, but they're building this lifestyle brand. A lot of their big name streamers aren't just gamers. They're doing tons of vlogs and IRL, and FaZe before them kind of hammered home the same point. And so this goes down to the core, as even as a content creator, and what Sam's talking about is on an individual level, if you're not interacting with chat, if you're not interacting on not only Twitter and Twitch and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, you're just wasting opportunities. And I think especially a lot of the stuff is you can overlap the stuff, right? You create a piece of content that you get on Twitch, there's no reason why you shouldn't be posting it on all of your socials, right? And so that's one. But since this subject that we were specifically talking about recently was what's no-go, I'm going to give you a quick story of why a brand in today's era, especially with COVID, has succeeded. So for instance, Wingstop, back when everything was going crazy with the pandemic, right? So back in April, Q2, Wingstop increased their sales. And then this is a brick and mortar food chain, right? 33% in April they increased, which is a huge number when most companies were struggling massively, especially with dine-in eating being done. And then you would think a place like that, like Wingstop, where I would assume a lot of their business comes from traditional sports events, people ordering wings for the games or whatever's going on. So how did they do it? One, they realized what medium they needed to go through, which was obviously turn a lot more toward digital, which was they went from 47% pre-pandemic up to 65% post-pandemic. And then one thing that they were successful at doing is they were advertising on Hulu and Twitch. So they were reaching those people who didn't want to leave the house. They were reaching a ton of people, a lot of gamers who maybe wasn't, big Wingstop fans originally, but realized this is the way to go. And then they partnered with brands like DoorDash. They did a free delivery through DoorDash campaign for a little while. So they were getting people who weren't eating their food to try it, right? So it's what medium are they going through? Who are they partnering with to build their brand? And then trying to attack those new customers that they've never have gone after before. And there was something crazy that I think they said, based on their new digital orders were up $10 per ticket, which is an insane amount of growth. So that just goes to show you what Sam is talking about, why it's so important for being authentic, making sure you're on social media, and then doing the right things at the right time. And Wingstop was 100% A+ story of knowing what was going on in the world, knowing where to advertise and do that, and then who do they go after. And so just want to leave you with that nice, like, we're putting practice into action right now. And so they were fantastic for that. So just want to share that story with you.
Dove, and I like it. Leave it up to Alex to always come in with the crazy facts. It's almost like every episode you got something that's like, what? I never knew that, you know? But, I mean, yeah, it's funny too, because I know some people who this ties in with the whole being authentic, not being fake, and then people will find out. People will, quote unquote, you know, expose you. People will leave bad reviews, and so on and so on. And I know some people that when they see a couple bad reviews, they will immediately not go down that path anymore. They will refuse to, like, if they see a bad review on an item, they won't get the item, you know? So I feel like it's very smart, like you guys are saying, to be authentic, and then hitting it at the right time, and then just hitting it hard and trying to get those positive reviews right off the bat, which is, you know, always a good idea. Because yeah, I don't know. But I like to do things for myself. You know, I like to figure it out myself. But I do know there's people out there who, when they see a bad review, they're like, oh, you know what? Never mind. I'll go find something else, like you was saying about the better brands, stuff like that.
Well, you know, that's one way to do it, right? And there's the old saying, fake it till you make it. That's only half true, right? Like, I think you should be authentic, but you should definitely learn the lessons from the people and the brands that were there before you. You can definitely kind of emulate what is successful for them, but you can't be them. You need to, there's a nice, delicate line of like, what are they doing? What are they putting in practice that's successful? And how do I do that with my brand, my story, my vision, and then storyboard it from there? So I think that's perfect of trying to find what you need to do, learn from those around you, and then implement it into your own story.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like, too, I feel like fake it till you make it is more like your emotions. Like, try to stay positive until you actually get to the point where you feel like you're succeeding. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fake your energy, or I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I think with the fake it till you make it mentality, I think where that ends up falling short is that, you know, if you break it down, I think what we have at hand here, what we're talking about when we talk about faking it till you make it, is two main things, which is representation and actual execution, right? So fake it till you make it can apply to whether it, you know, apply to your execution, it could apply to your representation, or it can apply to both, right? So some people pretend to be really good and they lack execution. Some people are really great executors and they're bad at representation, right? And vice versa, right? So for some people, it's easier for them to fake it so that they can maintain a level of confidence on the representation side while generating and learning skills on how to execute. Whereas there's a lot of people where they're great executors, but they don't know how to be confident enough to represent themselves, right? So I think that with the fake it till you make it, it's got to be a good balance. It's not, I don't think that the term should be fake it till you make it. I think that it's a little bit more nuanced than that. I think it's more of like, you know, where's your balance of like confidence and reality and self-introspection, right? Like you have confident and know that you're good at what you do, but in order to be confident, you also have to be good at what you do, right? So if you're not good at what you're doing, then you know, to be confident about is great, right? Like I can sell $100,000 a month if I lie, for sure, but I still have to do the work, right? Like, so people who just fake it till you make it and sell, you know, total, just not even real things, it's like, yeah, of course you can sell that. It's fake. And you're just beefing it up and saying nonsense. But where's the back end? Where's the juice? Where's the beef, you know?
That reminds me of Wish, you know, when they were selling that trampoline with the pool. It was like a pool trampoline. It was the weirdest thing that I've ever seen, and somebody shared it, and they're like, Wish be like, and it's a trampoline but a pool. It's I don't know, it just reminds me.
I don't even think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah,
I'd have to see one of those. No, what Sam was talking about reminds me, so what are your guys' thoughts on, like, and we might have touched on this last episode specifically with Nick, but like building a brand that's authentic, right, will help you when it comes to engagement on your post and everything you do. And I think that's so much more important than and this kind of goes for the fake it till you make it mentality too, is like people go out and say like, I've got 10,000 or 100,000 followers, right? But then they post something and they get like 1,000 likes, like no comments. Or you could be a brand or a person and you have 5,000 followers, and then you post something and then it's like, boom, I got 2,000 likes and 100 comments, right? So I think it's so important when you're marketing, you have to build this story right and build who you are and build your brand. And I think that's what we've done so successful here at KCP, is bring on the right people, whether it's players, whether it's content creators, whether it's staff members, and cultivate this sense of this is more than just a team, this is a family. And so like when we go about and we're posting stuff on social media, like everybody is supporting it, they're commenting, they're liking, and I think that's like so important for brand going forward, because you're encouraging other people to follow our journey, you're encouraging them to kind of be involved. And like people can always, you know, comment on our socials and we usually respond, or you can come in our Discord and engage with everybody, and like that's a really big piece of our marketing in a sense, right? Because it is hashtag my city. Like we want people to feel involved when they say it's my city, whether they're in Kansas City or not, they feel like they're a part of the family. And so I wanted to get your take. I was kind of long-winded, but what are your guys' thoughts on like how do you build something where it doesn't necessarily matter what numbers you have when it comes to follower count, but building that engagement and building, you know, like that family atmosphere? How do you do that, Sam?
Well, I think, again, it comes back to community building, like we talked about towards the beginning, which was having an authentic message and building a platform and an ecosystem for back and forth communication. So the way that I would break that down even further is, in the 20th century, marketing was mass media marketing, right? It was, this is what you should buy, and this is why you should buy it. And people use that as, you know, they really took into account what these people said on the television, on magazines and newspapers, because it was their way to access it was their only way to access some of this sales material and know what things were being sold, right? So, you know, back in the day, if you weren't promoting on a billboard or you weren't in a magazine or wherever it was, you weren't going to get in front of people, because how were they going to find you? They weren't just going to, you know, stumble on your Etsy in the 1950s, right? So you had to build these brick and mortar experiences. And then on top of that, you had to figure out how to mass market and expose yourself in the best way possible across all these mediums. Now, into 21st century, it's similar, but slightly different, right? So now you still have to communicate to these mass amounts of people. But now, instead of telling them what to do, your obligation as a brand is to help them find what they're looking for, right? So it's a peer-to-peer media system now. It's not, I tell you what to buy and what to do. It's, I tell you who I am, and you tell if you like it. And then I'll tell you another thing about me and how you can be connected with our business and why you should be. And then you say, okay, this is actually right for me. I'm making this choice. Because as you see with young people especially, they don't want to be told what to do. And that doesn't have any difference in the marketing world. Like if someone comes out and says, you need to buy these things because they're the, you know, the best of the best and you have to buy it, you know, you're going to see people actively ignoring that, right? So when you build marketing campaigns now, it's not about just showing off and flexing and just, you know, again, pretending. It's about creating a multifaceted approach from multiple angles that all point towards your central objective and what you're trying to communicate to people, right? So for example, we're Kansas City Pioneers. Our duty is to help everyone in Kansas City and beyond to get connected to esports and to understand its viability as not only a social connector, but at breaking down barriers, both economically and socially, but also in driving economic welfare and growth in our cities, right? So we want to show people that. So if I want to tell people about that, show that to them, then my goal isn't to just flash shiny stuff in their face. That's not going to get them to understand or even believe in our mission. But what will is real anecdotal experiences from people, interviews, conversations with people, genuine partnerships, genuine community engagement. We work tirelessly on multiple angles to make sure that everyone in our community feels like they're a part of our story. And it's been successful thus far. And I venture a guess to say it'll continue to bear fruit for us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. With that, it reminds me, it's funny, speaking about the prior to this century and the whole this is the best, it kind of reminds me of like the fast food chains, and it's like, our meat's the best, we got 100% whatever this. And then it kind of reminds me of when Wendy's came out and they just simply said, but we don't freeze our meat. It kind of reminded me of what you were explaining with the 21st century, as far as like not just saying ours is the best, but keeping it real and just saying, hey, we don't freeze our meat. Our meat is fresh. And it's giving you that authentic, like, oh man, they're telling us like what's up. They're not just saying, hey man, our meat's the best for sure because it's 100% whatever. I don't know. It just kind of reminds me of that. I don't know. I just kept, maybe I'm hungry. I'm probably hungry, man.
Hold on, give me 1 sec, guys. I'm like coughing, so I need some water.
I just wanted to actually follow up with what Alex had said too, because I know that question was kind of two-pronged for both of us. I feel like, I feel like communication is a big part of it, definitely in today's generation, because you see some people on social media, like somebody will tweet at Wendy's or Burger King and they'll reply, and then they'll be like, oh my god, Burger King just replied to me. So I feel like communicating and actually getting out there with the community is a really good part of it, because that's the whole reason. Now we tie it back to esports. That's the whole reason kind of video games became its thing, and then the online aspect was so you can play with people across the world, meet people that were like-minded, and communicate with gamers alike. So I feel like when brands and organizations actually reach out to these folks that are actually asking them questions and trying to get involved, I feel like it just builds a greater community, and then that's how that family aspect really starts to get built, Yeah,
it's exactly right. Like, what is the most powerful form of marketing? There's a lot of mediums out there, but what's still number one to this day, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, word of mouth. If your family or your friends tell you something, it's going to be so much more impactful than you seeing an ad in a newspaper or an ad on your Google ads or whatever it is, right? And not saying that other stuff isn't necessary. It is, but still, no matter what, like, content is king as it relates to building that community, actually engaging with your consumers or engaging with your friends. And then that's why we always encourage people to talk to us, join our Discord, because being a part of that family and engaging directly with everybody involved in the community is by far the most powerful thing.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna switch up the topics here just so we can keep it short for the folks at home. But yes, I feel like we could definitely talk about this stuff all day, but I don't think everybody at home has all day to listen, But so we've talked about marketing, and I said that I also wanted to briefly talk about the creative team. First of all, I just want to say that the creative team have been knocking it out of the park with everything that's going on, including the Rocket League, and getting everything set up for everything that's going on. So first of all, shout out to the creative team for their amazing amount of work that they've been doing. But Sam, just do you want to talk about your creative team and everything that's kind of going on in that section?
So in order to have a proficient organization in sports, we know that we have to have a robust creative system, right? There's so many things that are required to you really function as an org, right? So not only does that apply to graphics, but also to photos, video, animations, and the like, right? There's a lot that goes into it. So when I set out to build the creative team at the Kansas City Pioneers, I was, very cognizant of the things that worked really well at Social Apex with my team there. I led a team of creatives and still do at Social Apex, but I knew that, I had to translate that and figure out a way to really create a genuine structure because I had seen that in so many instances, orgs didn't have a very robust structure for their creatives. It was more, built together with not a lot of, excuse me, sorry, my throat is just killing me. It's so obnoxious.
No, you're fine.
hold on, where did I stop at? So
about orgs and not having a robust,
yeah, so I knew that we had to build the right structure, and so I knew that came down to building roles and responsibilities that actually reflected what needed to be done, right? So by figuring out what our priorities are at our organization creatively, I was able to work backwards and figure out the type of people that I was looking for, the type of roles I needed to fill, and so forth. So from there, we started with like 2 or 3 of us on creative, and now there's about 15 of us, I believe, close to, if not there yet. And it's all thanks to the amazing leadership of the people that I was so gracious to connect with. Our brand director Hayden and our creative director Doug have moved earth and mountain to do absolutely remarkable things. And Logan and Israel and Runicity and all of these people a part of our organization, and so many more that just do so much to make this a reality. And the way that I would really describe it is we're so successful with what we do creatively because we built a team that not only trusts each other and cares about each other and cares about how each other feels, but we've also built a robust system to protect ourselves and protect people from getting burnt out or overwhelmed or mismanaged or given the wrong expectations. We've built this, this structure, like I said, of really, honest and efficient delegation, and this really interesting community of people in our creative team that collaborate and work together to create some of the coolest stuff that we've seen, right? So I'd say that, the reason that the creative team is so successful is because of, I'm just lucky to be here. I love creating, and I love doing everything that has to do with this brand, but I would be remiss if I didn't, give the credit to my team, because they're the ones that really help us actualize everything.
Yeah, without a doubt. And once again, on behalf of me, huge shout out to the creative team, man. They've been knocking out of the park. They got everything done with all of the esports stuff, and then now they're getting caught up in all the individual requests from within the team, and they're killing it. So it's super neat to see. So today's been a pretty beefy episode. We're already at 40 minutes rocking. So we're just going to do a couple last minute discussions, and then I'll close it out. Alex, do you have any final words that you'd like to say to the folks at home, boss?
Let's see. Nothing crazy from my end, but keep pushing with us. We appreciate everyone that's supporting us, that's supporting our teams and players and content creators. As you all have seen and we've talked about stuff that's going on with certain partnerships and everything. This is just the beginning, and so Kansas City, we're here to make everybody proud and build something that lasts 50 years and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Sam, what do you got for us, boss?
Absolutely. So last thing I would say is I'm just incredibly grateful for the opportunity that Kansas City has given us. As a marketer and as a creative, I have come to truly understand what it means to build a community of support and trust and positivity. And the only way to do that is to find people who believe in you and believe in what you're building. And we wouldn't be here without every single person that's supporting us, whether it's in Kansas City or beyond. So I just want to send a huge shout out to you guys. And I promise that we're going to do everything that we possibly can to represent this city and every single one of our supporters with tenacity and passion, and that we're going to make something that people will remember forever.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This will conclude today's episode. And as always, A reminder to visit our Twitter. That's twitter.com/pioneersgg_. We post a lot of Rocket League content, snippets and links and everything, including our Twitch. Hit our Twitch. We're doing pretty outstanding right now on Twitch. Twitch.tv/pioneersgg_ as well to see everything Rocket League that's going on currently. We got those games that start on a Wednesday and pretty much go through until the end of the weekend. So we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and we will be seeing you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.